Hey, hello everybody, and welcome back to Distilogix webinars. Today's webinar is a very exciting one with Vembu, the amazing technology provider for backup and DR. So I guess we're ready to proceed. Again, thank you so much for being with us today. Today's webinar is really special, as always. And today's webinar is provided and sponsored by Vembu, the awesome technology provider of backup and disaster recovery. We have the amazing team from Vembu today with us. Thank you guys for your support to our region. Please, for the audience, pay attention to the presentation. At the end of the presentation, we will ask one question. And if you are the first one to answer the question correct in the chat, if you're the first one to answer the question correct in the chat, you will get an AirPod Pro as a winner. But that's not all, because also for all resellers in today's session, Vembu is giving NFR licenses for all reseller organizations in today's session, and they're offering 5% special discount on their first deal or sale. So if you're a reseller organization, not an end customer, if you're a reseller organization, if you represent a reseller organization, then you will be entitled for an NFR license to try the awesome product, and you will be entitled to an extra 5% special discount on your first deal. But for everyone else, including customers and resellers, if you pay attention to the presentation, there will be a question coming out of the content of the presentation. And if you are the first one to answer it in chat, you will get an AirPod Pro today. So wish you the best of luck. And without further ado, I'm gonna pass it back to the team from Vembu. Pranav, to you.
Well, thank you so much for that introduction, Mohammed. And it's Pranav from the product management team of Vembu. And with me, I do have my global sales head, Mr. Emmanuel Gibson, and his sales executive. We have Julie from the same team. So, yeah, so uh, great. Thank you so much, people, for joining in. It is such a great to have you all in this session. It's so pleasure to have you all in this session. And today we'll be talking more about what Wimbu has in its pockets for you in the upcoming days. So, the reason that we are generating this session is because throughout the world, we now see the data loss, or we hear a lot of news about ransomware attacks, which is coming up. And things are changing. Like whenever we have a data, we obviously need a backup solution for the data. And this is a platform we see. We have been partnering with Distilogix for more than a couple of years, and we see this as a platform where we can think about a solution that could save your data from data loss or from your ransomware attack. So we'll just peep into it, and I hope everyone is able to see my screen. Um, yes, I believe so. So, well, before I jump into things deeply, I just wanted to introduce, uh, Wimbu to you. So Vembu is the vendor, the backup software vendor, and this Vembu technology is a team which has been in this data protection market for more than 2 decades, with our footsteps in 100 plus countries, and we have etched up a solution that could cater to all the business needs. Either yours is a small business or a mid-range business or a enterprise class business, we would be able to provide you with a complete solution that could satisfy, quench your thirst for the data protection or in your environment. And that's up to Wimbu. Now I'm just moving on to some of the technology partners that I have to mention uh, in our meeting officially. So Wimbu has been technologically partnering with one of the vendors. Yeah, where VMware, we are a partner of VMware, Microsoft, NetApp, Hewlett Packard, HP, Red Hat, and Amazon Web Services. So, we have been partnering with them, and we also will be partnering with them for some of the futuristic features that we are developing in our test labs. And here are some of our customers who are using our product till date. Moving on further, now, what does Wimbu have for you? So, Wimbu
Pranav, if
has
you allow
two.
me to interrupt for a second, if you don't mind, please.
Yeah, no
Just a quick
problem.
thing. Again, going back to the NFR license, as I mentioned, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, the NFR will be, as per the channel rules, will be given only to reseller organizations. End customers, they are entitled to get a free trial already. You can go to the website now and download, and there is a way for you to get a free trial to test the product and explore its features and capabilities. And perhaps we'll probably provide you with some thoughts on how to do that and how to get the best of your POC. But the NFR is only meant for demonstration purposes, not for free trials to end customers. And please keep it as interactive as possible. Ask questions in the Q&A or in the chat, whatever is comfortable to you. And we will keep it interactive with Pranav to enjoy the value of his expertise. Thank you so much, man. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yes, people, as Mohammed was explaining, I'll jump into that detail for the customers what we have. But while before that, I'll just talk about what we have. Please, So, this Wimbu has been producing with two solutions basically. One is a software which we call it as BDRSuite. That is a comprehensive backup and disaster recovery solution, and this is more flexible with an environmental installation where you can then set this up as your on your on-prem environment and have a storage in a cloud, or you can install the backup server on your cloud instance and have a storage locally. So it is completely a flexible solution. It's more like a software, not like a software, it's more a software that you can deploy it on your machine, basically a server machine of Windows or Linux Ubuntu from 18.0 LTS that we support to install this product. And more prevalently, I just want to talk about this BDR suite. I hope everyone could see my, the mouse scrolling. So here, this solution is the one I was talking that we have etched to meet all your business goals. So either you could be a small, medium business or mid-range business or enterprise. This that solution of BDR suite will satisfy all your goals of data backup. And on the other hand, we have this BDR cloud, which is basically for the end users. So to back up your data and put that up in our own cloud. So here the cloud which we place is the BDR cloud, which is being hosted AWS by the way. And this is more like a service which is being provided. So all you have to do is you just need to install an agent on the machine with which you can take a backup of your endpoints or your servers, file servers at a file or folder level, or you can back up your Microsoft 365 and Google Workspace, even disk image backup for the Windows machines, or possible with a cloud solution. Soon or later, we'll be even having our platform widened for BDR Cloud so that they can back up even their virtual environments and set up on their, their cloud space that they sign up with BDR Cloud. Okay, so this is the solution at more preferably for the end users, or more preferably for the college going students, the teachers, if they are more prominent to maintain a separate server or a storage, they can just choose B Cloud. So the advantage here is wherever they go around the world, just they need to sign up for the Media Cloud account and they can restore data from the cloud storage that they have. So this is a solution that has both your backup as well as a restore at any time, at anywhere on the globe. But BDR Suite is completely software, as I told you, it's for your business modules. So that would safeguard your data with a higher security. Now, so in this webinar, we are much more going to talk about in detail the BDR suite. As I told you before, like this is completely a solution, a comprehensive solution that I would mention it as all-in-one solution where you can back up your data and restore your data from a centralized window. So this comprehensive solution has all these, I would say it as modules, but however you prefer. So this is all these modules in one single window, and that is what we have categorized it over here. So we have something called BDR Suite for data center and private cloud, which includes your virtual, your physical, and well as your application and database service. It's more like your, the higher environment at your on premise. And you have the BDR suite for SaaS applications, which is completely a cloud backup solution where you will be taking a backup of your uh, data and cloud and storing it on-prem. That is for SaaS applications. And for endpoints, you can back up your endpoints, specifically your Windows, Mac, and Linux. You can just back them up and store it on-prem. And for the cloud workloads, so we do have the backup for your cloud instances, computing instances, and that's what we're going to see. So all these is what we're going to discuss. But before that, I'll just give you an a scope of what this is all about. So when I say a data center and private cloud, which includes an on-premises data center, which might have virtual environments of either VMware or Hyper-V, and where we provide an agentless solution. And next in that row, we do have KVM coming up, which is planned for our next release, version 7.0. And then we have the backup for physical servers of Windows or Linux. So if it is a Windows machine, we can take a file or folder level backup as well as a disk image level backup, where for Linux, we can take a backup at a file or folder level as of now. So this Windows Linux machines can be either a physical machine or a a machine that is running on a hypervisor on a hypervisor or even on a cloud instance. So if that has an operating system of Windows or Linux, we can still take backup of them. So, and the next we have the applications. So if you have any of your application servers such as Exchange, SQL, SharePoint, or MySQL, that is your application or database service, we can back them up either at an image level or a file of, that is more like a granular level, and you can restore their data at the database level however you wish. So that is what Exchange servers backup. So this is pretty much more towards data center that you hold. Or they can even be hosted on a cloud or a private cloud where you can back up that machine and restore that machine on its purpose. And to that, we have the SaaS application backup where you can back up your SaaS applications of Microsoft 365 and Google Workspace, which includes the user mailbox. Um, then you have this in the user mailbox, you can back up your mails, contacts, calendars, OneDrive in case of Microsoft 365, and Google Drive in case of Google Workspace. So apart from these, you can also take a backup of your SharePoint Online and Teams far as Microsoft 365 is concerned. So then you take a backup and you get to restore them either to the same account or to a different user account. And for the mails, you get to restore them across your tenants. So from one tenant to another tenant, you can restore your data. That's the thing that we have for SaaS applications. And for endpoints, now the hottest topic towards the globe is to secure your endpoints and your SaaS applications. When I say SaaS, it's more towards the Microsoft 365, and for the endpoints, it is towards the Windows Mac, majorly used endpoints. So now most of our people, like after this, the pandemic, I could see most of the people are towards securing their endpoints. So even the businesses that provide laptops to the individual workers, they wanted to have that data to be backed up and stored in their either in cloud or in their own storage. So in such a case, we have built up an efficient solution for the endpoints where you can back them up either at a file of folder level, and for both the cases, if I'm saying it is endpoint, it's completely at a file of folder level. But there are cases if you wanted to take an image level backup of your Windows machine, you still can take a backup at an image level, this image level backup for your Windows endpoints machines, specifically like Windows 8, Windows 10, or Windows 11. Okay, so that's the advantage that we have with endpoints. And this endpoints, either it could be a stroke of backup, or you can just push an agent through the group policy using an ID. You just push an agent and you can back up the data from each of your endpoint users, end users, and store it up at your backup server level. And the configuration is all from single window. And then you have the cloud workload. As of now, you could see that AWS EC2 instance, that is the computing instance of cloud, can be taken a backup. Now, as we have this AWS EC2 instance in our present build, but in our next update, that is version 7.0, which is coming up in next month, by the end of next month, you preferably see that, which will have the backup for Azure VMs as well. So you get to back up the AWS and Azure VMs and store them either on as a snap in the old region, or you can even get to store them in your local storage. So that's the advantage that we have for the AWS as well as the Azure computing instances. So by doing so, you ensure that data, even though it is a cloud, you still can take a backup of them and store them locally and bring them up locally as a virtual machine or a physical machine, however you need. So this is more like a cross-platform migration you can perform with our single solution. So people, I believe this is more explanatory to you to brief all these, because please come interact with me, because you have one app pods waiting for you post a call. By asking you a question, please have a track on this, please. Okay.
Uh,
Oops, I'm sorry
Allow
that
me, just before we can
yes,
continue, we have a couple
yes,
of
Nader.
questions. Okay, so question number one from Rukshana is, what cloud is hosted in which country?
Okay. So we have a cloud hosted in much of places. At in Italy, we have the east and west of Northern America. We have one. We have one in Ireland that covers the European continent as per the GDPR rules. We have one in Sydney, to cover the Asia Pacific. And now we are also planning to build up some of the cloud servers, I mean the data servers in the covering the Middle East as well as the Asia Pacific, southern part of Asia Pacific, as well as the northern part of Asia Pacific. That is how we have been planning. So we are up to that in things. Yeah.
Yeah. Second is the BDR cloud will have space as well, or only solutions take the backup to personal cloud?
No. As of now, the BDR cloud, as I told you, it is more like a service. So what we do is we help, I mean, we just provide you with a cloud storage to you. So the customer can take the backup and he gets to store that in his, in his BDR cloud storage allocated to his name. Okay, so he has to sign up for the B cloud. There will be a cloud space allocated in his name, and he can take a backup and he gets to store the data in that cloud space. And he can expand that space whenever, like he can purchase and he can expand the space however it needs.
Okay. So the last question is, does the email backup, can we restore it granularly, the email backup?
You mean to say the SaaS applications? I believe that is the mails that they take from the Microsoft 365 and Google Workspace as a mailbox. Of course, they can restore it granularly. For example, if the customer, like maybe like organization, I'll take an organization into this account. So this is more like organization level. So Microsoft 365, obviously you need a super admin privilege to take a backup of the complete organization. Then if one particular use of that you wanted to restore, obviously you can restore the data. One or even one particular mail, if you want to see and restore, obviously you can do that. So that is a privilege that we have in our BDR suite.
Okay, we actually have one more question. Is do you offer disaster recovery replication for servers?
Okay. Here, the one main thing that I wanted to make it clear is, see, disaster recovery, as per the term, it is help you to restore your data with not within much of a time, not much consuming much of a time after a disaster. So it is completely not replication. We have two options here. If it is the virtual machines of VMware or Hyper-V, you have the VM replication option. So you take back, I mean, you can replicate your data from one host to another host. And if there is any disaster at the source machine, you can fail over and fail back your data. That is fail back your virtual machines. That is literally about VM replication. If it is server, we get to provide you with multiple restore options. In that, instant boot recovery is one such option. If the customer has taken a complete image level backup, for example, let's consider Windows, because Windows is more preferably widely used operating system around the globe for servers. So if a customer has, and since provide image level for Windows machines, you can take a backup of it. And when source machine is hit by a disaster, you can instantly boot up as a virtual machine on a VMware or Hyper-V host, and you can continue with your business. Okay, so that is one of the option. Or if there is any particular file that you wanted to restore immediately, even though you're stuck by a disaster, then you can restore one particular file granularly and start using it. So whatever the changes that you're making to the files and folders or to the complete machine while you are in an instant boot, and those changes will be tracked down in a delta file, and it will be added as a persistent boot data when you completely try to restore your machine permanently. So this instant boot recovery, which I said, is one of the disaster recovery option that we provide. And this instant boot recovery holds, helps you to come up with the RTO less than 15 minutes, not more than 10 minutes. Even if it's a huge data, we'll instantly boot the data and bring it up. And that is how the backup process provides. And apart from this, we have a solution called offsite DR. So you get to have a copy of your backup data in a separate location, that is in your offsite location. Even if your production site along with your backup server crashes down, you will still be able to restore your data from your offsite location. So this is only for the BDR suite. This is for the BDR suite. You'll have an offsite location, you can restore it from there. And that offsite will also be having the instant boot recovery option. So this helps them to restore their data instantly and continue with their business effectively. Any other questions?
Yes, we actually do have other questions. Okay, so can we install BDRSuite on premises?
BDR Suite can be installed on premise. It can be installed on a physical machine, but make sure it is a machine with a dedicated resources only for the backup purpose. In such a case, you can install it on a physical machine. You can even install it on a virtual machine, or even in a cloud virtual machine, you can install it. So this is more like a software. You can install it however you want. As I told you, it is more like a hybrid solution. Yeah.
Okay, and next is what is the minimum RTO for the disaster recovery service for VAM?
For Veeam or a VM
For virtual machine.
for the virtual machine. Okay, cool. So in this case, the minimum RTO is less than 15 minutes, which proudly I would say will be coming up around 12 minutes or so. And this completely depends on the resources they hold. Like if, for example, they have a good resource at the backup server and that have provided, that is the RAM speed and the network bandwidth, then obviously they can achieve minimum minutes also. So for an industrial best practice, I would say it is less than 15 minutes. You would be able to bring up your virtual machine, and that completely depends on the size of the data as well. Yeah. Yes. Any
Okay,
further
so
questions?
yes, so is it license based, and is it like the support? Does it support different SIEM solutions to integrate with?
Okay, so here I would say, as far as BDRSuite is concerned, SIEM here mentions like maybe like we have something called as ConnectWise. So all your ticketing and billing, it can be done. You can have this solution or the reports to be up with the ConnectWise. We have a direct integration with ConnectWise bots. So that is the only thing we have as of now. Any other SIEM, we would see how it is feasible. But as of now, this is how it goes.
I think we can proceed for now. Like, we will answer more questions later.
Okay, but I'm getting a lot of questions. Mohammed, is there any chance that if I answer more question, I'll get an AirPod?
So it's only for the audience.
Okay, that's great. That's great. Thank you so much. It is so great that you're asking me so much of question. It's good that you ask me so much of question. I'll be able to answer you. You get it cleared so that you have a clear picture of what BDRSuite is about. Yeah, thank you. So, yeah, let's proceed further with the BDR architecture. Yes. So people know what you're going to see is complete architecture of the BDRSuite. I hope it is all clear there. So this is what I was talking to you all about. This is a backup server. When I say backup server, it's just a bare metal machine with a Windows operating system. Maybe I can consider here as a Windows server operating system, or if it is Linux, then we support Ubuntu operating system over there. So if here all I have to do is install my BDRSuite software in this machine. Once I've installed, the next immediate step that I have to add is storage target to have all my backup data stored. So that is my storage target, which could be my block storage or object storage. When I say block, it is completely your local storage, could be a directly attached storage or any of your network drives such as NAS or SAN, or if it is your storage appliances, you can even add that storage appliance to the as a storage target. And apart from the storage, you can even add your object storage. When I say object, it is completely cloud. So this cloud storage could be your own, that is the customer's own S3 cloud, AWS S3 cloud, or any of your S3 compatible cloud storages such as Minio, Wasabi. You have Alibaba because that is also, I see that S3 compatible, and you also have Blackblaze, Stability. You have much more. So any of your S3 compatible clouds, you can add it as your storage. And you also have Azure Blob to be added as your storage repository, or your Google Cloud, even that you can add as your storage repository. So these are the options that we provide. So when I say if it is secure in your storage, here your data is in your hand, which will help you to comply with most of the international standards which everyone is aware of. So once my storage target is added to the backup server, my backup server setup is complete now. All that I do is make sure I install the software and I have a storage attached to it. Once I'm done with the adding of the storage, the console pops up. It's more like a web-based console. It is not an application-based console. You will be able to access this console from a browser just by putting the IP address of your machine with a 6060 HTTP port number. You will be able to view console, backup server console in your web browser. you can just, from wherever the machine that you sit, you can configure your backups for your VMware, Hyper-V, physical machines, and even the KVM, as I told you, it will be coming up in our version 4, 7.0, which is our next release. So all these you can take a backup from one single solution. Directly you configure the backup. Then you have the backup for your endpoints, which is specifically called as the Windows, Linux, and Mac at a file or folder level. You can take them a backup. And the SaaS application directly taken a backup from the backup server. And here the cloud workloads, that is the AWS and Azure, which is also coming up, will be taken a backup from your backup server. All these take a backup, you'll get to store that data in your preferred storage target. Either it could be block or your object storage, which I probably mentioned before. So this is a complete solution. Now, what I'm saying here, the agentless, when I say VM or Hyper-V, I would say it is more like an agentless solution that we provide. So you don't have to install any agent manually on each of your virtual machines. Instead, you can take a complete VM level backup and get to store the data. So this is the backup server for you. Now, this backup, if you want to have your data archived for a longer period of time, then you have this tape targets. So you can use your autoloader tape libraries. Soon we'll have the support for standalone tape libraries also from LTO generation 3 and above. This this tape library will help you to archive your data for a longer period of time, specifically for image level backup. So that is one solution that you have. And another is you can have your data, a copy of your backup data in your remote location, or maybe I can call it as an offsite location that is installed at your remote office or a branch office. So once I have this offsite installed, this is also a separate software. You have to install it on a dedicated machine once done, and you need to add a storage to that as well. I'm sorry. That storage can be any of your, as I told you before, either the block or object. What happens is your data from your backup server will be transferred. A copy of the backup data will be transferred to the offsite DR server. We do have a seeding process for the full backups here. If it is a huge in size, you can seed your data into a external hard drive or a machine, put it up in the offsite location, and then you will have the incrementals to be flowing from the backup server to the offsite DR server. So this, for example, this setup would help you in this manner. For example, if the any of your instance is being crashed down, or you lost instances, you'll be able to restore the data from your backup server. If your production site along with your backup server is crashed down, you'll be able to restore your data from this offsite DS. So this is the option that we have with the BDR architecture. And for the licensing purpose, we have this portal account. So each one of you will have a hierarchy in the portal account as far as the licensing is concerned. So based on that, we have distributor on top, we have the reseller flowing next to them, and under them we have many service providers, and below we have the customers. So more on to the portal. Maybe if you want to study more on related to portal accounts and details or related to portal traffic, you can just have a call over BDRSuite or Vembu, so that my team will explain you how the portal works in this case. Okay. So, but the backup server will be getting in touch with the portal server at 24 hours daily. We also provide app solutions, that is for offline licenses are being provided for the backup server as well. So more on that detail, the licensing part, I'm not touching it down now here. We can have it discussed with the sales experts team later, like when you have a one-on-one meeting or when you can sign up for a demo session, we can have that up. Okay, so this is basically the BDRSuite architecture that you are seeing. Yes. Next, we'll have some. Yeah, we have questions. Yes. Yes, Nat.
Sorry, of course, you allow me. So the first question is the MC data domain supported as a storage?
Data domain, the Dell data domain, is that right? Exactly that you're asking?
EMC data domain, yes.
Okay, so obviously, yes, we can have the data domain added as a storage repository because yeah, the data domain has its own encryption and deduplication as well as compression. So in such a case, the software-based encryption compression can be turned off. We have an option there in our console, so that could be turned off. And obviously, you can add their own. They can use their own data domain to compress and encrypt their data. That is more like a storage appliance. Yes.
Okay, so another question is, what's the port number for accessing the console again? Apparently, like, Josephine didn't hear it.
The HTTPS number. Okay, that is 6060. You just put your IP address. That is once you install the backup solution on a server, you need to have the IP address of the server or the DNS name of the server. You can either use either of them, IP address or the DNS name. Just add it over your address bar in your browser. Colon 6060 the port number. You will be able to access your complete screen. That is your web console. 6060. Again, yeah.
Okay, so Mohammed Mukhtar also would like to know what is the minimum Windows operating system that Vembu software can support, either
Okay.
physical or on a virtual machine.
Okay, I'll explain you. If it is a virtual machines of VMware or Hyper-V or even the KVM which is going to come up, you don't have to worry because this is completely a VM level backup that you will get. You don't have to worry about the operating system. Even if it is a much older operating system, we will take a backup because it is a virtual machine. Since it is a virtual machine, either running on VMware, Hyper-V or KVM. But that is one case. If it is a physical machine, we have since we are the partners of uh, authorized partners of Microsoft, we have to follow their rules and regulations as per the guidelines. Now we support, as far as endpoint is concerned, we support from Windows 8, Windows 10, and Windows. These are the endpoint support. For servers, we support from Windows Server 2012 R2 and above.
Okay, and the last question is, this is kind of a good question, so I wanted to to answer it lastly. So, how do you keep it safe from ransomware attacks?
Okay. Actually, that is what I was trying to explain in my next slide, but no problem. See, ransomware, there are some, day-to-day updates that is going on with our solution. We have a test lab, as I told you previously, we have a test lab that we are daily working on. We have some experts who are daily working on the best method to curtail on this ransomware. But people, my dear friends, we are not legends here to curtail the ransomware. This is completely a backup and disaster recovery solution. So what we can provide you is we can provide you the options to secure your data from ransomware attacks. We have something called as 3-2-1 backup policy. Recommend our customers to use that um, 3-to-1 backup policy option. So in this 3-to-1 backup policy, you'll be having 3 copies of your data to be stored 2 different storage mediums and 1 in an site location. So as far as what I explained with the BDRSuite architecture, so you have 3 copies. You can keep 3 copies of your backup data. One your primary copy, which is also called as golden copy, in your preferred storage, and another same backup job, you can have another copy of that in cloud. We have something called as backup copy option. So you can have a backup of your backup job to be stored in a different storage medium. And the third one is you can archive your data. That is the tape. So 3 copies of your data you secure in 2 different storage medium. One medium is your on-prem storage. That could be your directly attached storage or your network drives or your storage appliance. That is your storage that you have. And another one is your cloud storage. 2 different storage mediums, one in offsite location. One copy of your data that I can say you can have it in your offsite location. So that offsite location is going to be your own choice. Either you can have it in your on-prem offsite location, or if you want, you can even store it in BDR Cloud, DR copy, BDR Suite Cloud DR copy. Okay, so that is the 2 options that we have. So literally you have 3-2-1 backup policy to protect your data. And the next one, which as I told you, the next immediate release will be having the immutable backup. So you can have this immutable backup that would secure your data from overwriting. For example, I would say this is more like warm. We call that as write once, read many option. So you have this immutable storages that is also coming out. That is the support for immutable storage is coming out with the BDR suite. So that is mainly for the cloud-based immutable backups. And even the data that you're going to write, you can have it to write it only once. So that is also a designed one. And people, the one more thing that I want to step here is BDR. This is more like the key features, but I'm trying to talk about the key features now itself. The BDR suite data, what are the data that you're trying to take a backup, will be stored in our own file format because BDR suite has its own patented file system. So you take backup at a block level. Obviously, ours is an increment based backup. So we take a backup at a block level. The, our file system breaks the data in the form of chunks and it gets to store the data in the preferred storage of yours. So when we store the data is already compressed and encrypted, and moreover, it will be since it is broken down in the form of chunks, it will be dispersed and it will be stored in our own file format. So without the product of Vembu, my dear fellow men, the data can't be restored. Without the product of Vembu, no one can restore your data. And if at all you've been, if one copy of your data, if you have followed the 3-2-1 backup policy, and if one copy of your data has been hacked through, and a person has, demanding a ransom for this, please do let that person know. You can have that copy with you because you can't even restore, see what data is inside, but we have another copy to continue with your business. So this is what the confidence that you have with BDR Suite, my dear fellow men. Yeah. So the 3-2-1 backup policy. And moreover, we are also trying to bring up a step called pre and post script. So see, as I told you, ours is completely a backup and disaster recovery solution. And while taking a backup, we can provide you with the pre and post script option so that you can script yourself using your own antivirus software. You can scan the data, whatever you're taking a backup. So your data doesn't get corrupted. So you take a backup of that data after a scan, and before restore, you can scan the data and restore the data. So literally, this is called pre post script that would scan the data and take a backup. So it will be using your own local antivirus solution for that purpose. That is one solution. And more on notification, people, we are working on. I'm sorry for my throat. So we are working on it. I'm sure we'll have a much more futuristic product that will be coming up as we are completely working with much of our technology partners, and we have experts who widely think about details on this purpose. Yeah. Yes, Nadir.
Raf Ibrahim have a question, and he would like to know if BDR suite backup files from any external drives.
Yes, my dear friend. Yes, you can back up your data from external drives. Like all that you need to do is make sure that drive is discoverable by the backup server or the agent that has been installed. So be like, I can say this on an example. You have an external drive. You just connect it to your computer, that is a particular machine, and install the agent over there, BDR Suite agent, for the file and folder. So that uh, drive which is being mounted can be scanned and it can be taken a backup. The files inside can be taken a backup and stored in a storage. I mean, not our storage in the sense, your storage. Yeah. Yes. Any further questions, Nadir?
Okay. Mr. Suleiman want to know if the service is free, and if yes, for how long before paying? I think he want to know if there is a trial period.
Okay. Thank you that you brought about this question because I thought of explaining this before what Mohammed was trying to explain. See, this like you would have a 30 days of free trial. BDRSuite offers all its customers with a 30 days of free trial, so they can evaluate the product with that meantime. And for example, people, you just during your evaluation, or while you want our help in deployment, you can reach out to your partners, or you can reach out to Distilogix. They can request up request with us. We'll have our own team, experts team, to help you with the deployment, and they'll give you the best practice to how to configure your backup job, how frequently you can try to restore your data. Even on the policies, we can help you with it. So this is the 30 days of free trial. You can explain and express what you have with BDRSuite.
Okay, so also Josephine would like to know if there is a way BDR can detect any malicious file in a backup system, or is it against your policy to do so?
Yeah, thank you. People, this is a question that I have to take some time and explain in detail. See, as I told you, this BDRSuite is a backup and disaster recovery solution, so we don't detect anything as of now. See, there's detection is something that I said we'll be having it in future. Like we are working on it. We need to see how feasible it is, because this ransomware is completely different. So as a backup and disaster recovery solution, we'll be providing you an option called pre or post script, which I explained previously. This pre or post script feature, you can add a script to it, making sure that your local antivirus solution installed on your machine can help you to scan the files before they take a back. So using the BDRSuite, you can have the script down, and obviously before the backup triggers, the BDRSuite solution will trigger the script so that the scanning of the files happens first, and then the backup happens next. After that, before you restore, you will have the files scanned, and then you restore the data, so that you can avoid such problems before you restore. Yeah.
Okay, so there is one more question actually, and it's from your Dennis, and you'd like to know if 5 companies have one data center and they are using it by creating separate virtual machines, how can they manage to back up their data separately?
Could you please come again on this another?
Sure.
Yeah,
So
please.
there's 5 companies with
Okay.
only one data center, and
Mm-hmm.
they're using it by creating separate virtual machines. So the 5 companies apparently are using one data center with different virtual machines, and he
Okay.
would like, there you go. He would like to know how to back up the data separately. So
Okay. Um, yeah, this is the right solution. The BDR suite allows you to add any number of storage repositories. For example, in this case, if they have 5 different companies having one data center, they can have a dedicated machine in the data center installed with the BDRSuite software. And for each of the company, they can attach a different storage, or maybe like one NAS drive. They can build 5 LUNs into the NAS drive and attach it as a storage to the backup server. So once done, but make sure that all these 5 companies are able to be reached to the data center. So the backup server would be able to connect to the hypervisors and take a backup of the data, and the data will be stored in that preferred storage. Because while you configure a backup job, you can configure it for individual companies, and that backup jobs, you can choose the repository individually for the backup job. Maybe in the demo that I'm going to show, like a small pick, I'll just show you how this option would be, so that each backup job that's been created for the company gets to store in that particular storage of that company's profile. So that would be more useful. Even if it is 5 company or 10 companies, anything on that purpose, we'll be able to help them out with.
of course, I just wanted to mention that everyone have a different scenario for backup and data protection. Like in this webinar, it's more like a general overview, but Distilogix, along with Vembu, we are more than happy to meet with you one-on-one and discuss specific scenarios. I will share a link in the chat so you guys can book a meeting and we can discuss this further.
Yes, exactly. Sure. See, anything for Distilogix. If they come up with any questions or anytime they want, because what we provide with Vembu is 24/7. And if you're one of the partners of Distilogix or one of your customers of Distilogix, just a name Distilogix is enough. Even our support team will be prioritizing your ticket in the top. So nothing to worry. Even if you want one-on-one demo, we can provide you with a one-on-one demo anytime, whenever you require. We are there for you to help you out with. Just a name distributor is enough for us to proceed.
Okay,
Yes.
can we answer a couple more questions before we move to the next slide?
Yeah, sure. No
Okay.
problem.
So, Ibrahim also would like to know how fast and efficient is the backup and restoration compared to the previous releases?
Okay. This is the right question. So, guys, see, I would I want to frankly talk about this. So each release, we check on the stability and the performance of the software. So comparatively, I would say from what I've been in this company for a long, I've just entered the company when the company had its release 3.8 version 3.8. Now we're running with version 5.6 update 2, and next we are going to have version 7.0. So when compared to 3.8, obviously there were highs and lows. I'm not going to say that mine is only software that has everything in it, but I'm sure there were lags and lows, but we were able to cope up with things and we changed much of the detailing and we build a futuristic product now. So what you're seeing now is completely an updated version of the BDR suite or Vembu BDR suite, which you've seen before. So here, when I say the installation process, it completely depends on the resources that I have to really mention. Because if you have a quite good size of RAM and good size of storage, your read output, input output processing reading is good, and you have a core processor as suggested by the BDR suite, obviously, then the installation would not take more than 10 to 15 minutes. Yeah, because we say before we release a product, I and my team will have a system testing. So I've done this before. Previously, the installation of the product took 20 minutes. Now we shorten it down. And the last time when I personally when I tested, uh, uh, sorry that I'm leaving out some of the details. I, Emmanuel might be angry on me, but still I want to say the last time when I tested, it was just 8 minutes that I was able to install the software in my test virtual machine. Because I do system testing, so I was able to install it within 8 minutes in my environment. So obviously that is a test environment. So I'm not giving that 8 minutes, but because we have the well prepared thing. Um, Basically, I see someone as forgive Pranav. Thank you, Josephine. Okay. So basically, when it is an customer's end user point, I would say 10 to 15 minutes would be the maximum, not more than that. If it is taking more than that, then obviously please contact our support team. We'll check what was it, the problem. It won't take more than 15 minutes. That's the highest level to install software on a Windows machine, BDR Suite Windows Edition.
Okay, so there's also Mayor de la Paz. You would like to know if the backup can be live, like synchronized live, I think. And how much time does it take for a full image to backup?
Again, okay. So synchronizing live, I just want a brief introduction on this. Synchronizing live is completely different, people, because it's more like taking a mirror of the data and having it synchronized lively, so that whatever the change that you're making in one machine, you'll have the same of it happening in the another machine. So that is not BDR Suite. VDR Suite does it in a different manner. VDR Suite takes the backup of your data and then helps you to restore your data, not a live sync. So I just want to make a point over here. And yeah, how much time would it take to take a full backup? It exactly completely depends on the resources as well as the size of data that you're trying to take a backup. If, for example, if you're trying to take up a backup of 500 GB of data, what data that I need to understand? Because either it may be an image level backup or a file or folder level backup. For, let's consider it as a VM backup, 500 GB of a virtual machine with size of 500 GB, a written sizes of alone 500 GB. That if I'm going to take, obviously I need to have a good RAM speed at the backup server end, as well as I need to have a good read write speed with a processor of minimum octa-core and above. If this is the process, I would say your full backup would take around within 45 minutes. And if you're able to increase your resources at the backup server end, and even your data size is completely different, then obviously you'll have an optimal solution to achieve it within 30 minutes. So it completely depends. I can't personally comment on it, but I could say it is completely dependent on the uh, uh, resources that you're going to allocate, as well as the type of data, as well as the size of the data that you're taking a backup. So this is where we need an expert's privilege on this. So if you're going to take a backup, or if you're going to configure backup on it, you can very well reach out to Distilogix through a mail, so that they can set up a call with the Vembu team. So our Vembu team will guide you on the best practices, so that you would be able to achieve your data backup at a desired or optimal time period. Yes.
Great.
Yes. Any other questions?
Yes, actually, can sorry, is there any limits to the capacity data one can back up on the solution, or is it limitless like cloud? I think we already answered this, but if we can briefly answer it again.
Yeah. This is something more related to licensing. I just wanted to bring it in. Is it towards the trial period, or is it towards the licensing part that like after the purchase or something?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's referring to
Nadir?
after purchase, yes.
It is it is in the trial period, right, Mohammed?
No, he's asking about the limit to the capacity of data one can back up on the solution after the purchase. So the answer is no, no limits. You can back up
Yeah.
as much data as you want, as long as you have the storage that carry
Yeah.
that data backup. You can do that. And
Yeah.
with cloud, you will be paying per gigabyte anyways, and gigabyte usage, right? No?
Yeah, in the cloud, see, it is BDR cloud in the sense that's completely based on the per GB of data that they take a backup, and the licensing as well as the cost. But for example, if it is BDRSuite, my dear friend, the storage is going to be yours, so there's no capacity running over there. And moreover, the license that you purchase, like if you have one machine and you have purchased a license for one machine and you wanted to take a backup of that machine, you can configure any number of backups for that machine, like a file or folder level backup, like any type of file or folder, like even hundreds of files you want to get separately, or you wanted to involve in one single backup job, you can do it. That's the option that we provide. So there's no restriction over there except the license. It is, for example, however you put the license, it is based on the per instance basis, per server basis, or in VM level, we have per VM level basis, or even we have this CPU socket level basis for virtual machines alone. Yeah. Yes, exactly.
And the same thing,
Thank you.
Mayo is asking about, can you share a sizing infrastructure document? We'll be sharing things, but the best thing for sizing is to have a one-on-one discussion with Vembu team, like to look at the exact sizing and come up with the right design and so on. But if there are any documents we can share for now for sizing, we can do that. Yeah.
Sure, sure. We'll can share you with a sizing document because we are in the stage of revamping everything for our version 7.0 release. So we can have a sizing document. But as Mohammed said, my dear friend, uh, the document is just a material of a purpose that is being provided. We need practicality. We believe in practicality. So whatever I document, maybe working out on my test labs. I don't think so. My results would be having a same impact on your environment. So the talk, for example, if you come on a one-on-one talk or for a demo with one of our team members, it is not just a technical person that you will be talking to with. You will be talking to with the senior QA members. So, for example, the quality assurance, the testing team is who will be involved in this. Either maybe like even if I'm there in the call and I'll have my senior QA member alongside with me, they will explain you what would be best practice because more than me, they have a good experience on how the product would work and what would be the best choice to choose for your requirement. Yes.
There are a few questions left. I'll leave it to you, Nadir, but I wanna address one question that was lost in the chat here, like quickly. Mr. Malik asked, "What makes your solution different than others?" I've got a few comments on that, Malik. One, Vembu backup solution is probably the easiest in the industry to use and operate. I think one customer testimony one day, he said that a 6-year-old child can run a Vembu backup solution. This is how easy they managed to make it, and they managed the processes inside it to make it so comfortable for a user, even with a minimal IT knowledge. Vembu provides you with what truly means return on investment, because in the end, a backup solution return on investment could come from protection. Definitely, that's a huge thing, because if you manage to restore your data after a ransomware attack, that's the best thing that could happen in your day. But also it comes from your total cost of ownership. So yeah, backup is a great thing, but there is a total cost of ownership. Vembu definitely is one of the most competitive commercially amongst the solutions in the industry. And the awesome thing about them is that they do truly support backing up and DR functionality for any type of data from any source to any destination, cloud or on-premises. And with the capacity that they have, whether it is the 3 and 2 and 1, 3, 2, 1 strategy that they can help you to protect your data from 3 copies in 2 different media, 1 archived outside, and their patent file system, that's another layer of protection against ransomware attacks and another differentiators, because with their patent file system, even if someone grabs that data, they won't be able to run it. They don't know what that is. It's like a scrambled type of data that means nothing to them. There are like multiple highlights. One of them is also related to support. I've never seen, honestly, someone that is so passionate in supporting their customers the way the Vembu team is all about. Just try to reach their support team and see the amount of responses and how everyone jumps in trying to support, from channel team and management and everyone. They have different offerings for enterprises, for MSP, managed service provider, if you're interested, and how you manage multiple customers. They've got that backup and disaster recovery from 360-degree coverage, like from business model requirements, from support, from the technology itself, from the patent file system, from the strategy against ransomware attacks. And now they're working on versions and developments that will lead to even integration with antivirus that allows, it's already there, that allows to scan the document that you're backing before you start the backup process, and so on. That 360-degree is really awesome. I don't know, Pranav, if you want to add something. I just wanted to answer this one. I don't want it to be lost in the chat, honestly.
Dr. Muhammad, just since there is another question, are your prices competitive with others? I think it's in the same theme, so
yeah. Same thing, yeah. Vembu provides you a true meaning of what return on investment is all about. The value that you gain compared to the dollar value that you pay is in a magnitude that is unbelievable. You know. Pranav, apologies, I jumped in, but you can add to this also.
Mohammed, you were brilliant. It is exactly what I wanted to. Literally, you gave up all. You exactly answered the question in a rightful manner. I don't know even if I would have answered in such a way. It was exact, my friend. It was. It was exactly. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is the exact answer that I wanted to give, which came out from Mohammed. And truly speaking, to make it simple, of all things, see, people, backup and disaster recovery was a solution which was highly sophisticated, and it was widely used by enterprises a decade ago. BDR Suite is, since we have been in this business for more than 2 decades, we wanted to break that dilemma and bring in a solution that would even help a small, medium business to come up. So everywhere data is coming up. So we wanted to secure the data. We want to provide a system that could secure the data. But we also wanted to make sure if there is a small, medium business, you should not be spending more on resources, especially on the backup resources. If he is taking a Windows machine backup, which is widely costing him around within $50 and so, he should not be spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars in his backup solution for just taking one single machine and backup. So in such a case, it cuts down on the TCO, that is total cost of ownership, and the learning curve. You should not, the simple business. We don't want to build anything which is more sophisticated, making the people to confuse and giving them more about the learning, separate document, separate training for learning. In that case, you are wasting the resources by giving them a train. Time and money is very precious. So we wanted to cut down on it. So that's why we built a product that even a sixth grade kid, who I was surprised to see in Germany and even in US, a sixth grade kid or less than that started to use a product without any documentation. They, all the features that we see, you literally see a tooltip nearby. A simple, as I told you, it is a simple web-based console. Yeah, even if you have a Google translator, you can even translate that web page so it will be in your own language to understand what it is. So you can configure your backup. But please don't expect the people of Vembu to speak your own language. Sorry, my dear friends, we all go with an English alone. If we want to speak, we'll get ourselves trained first on that. But you can have a web page. Our user guide is also HTML based, which you can translate in your own language with a normal Google translator or any other translator online and see what we are trying to see. Yes. And if even if non-English speaking customer, we would try our best to help you out how things could be working. Like we'll try to explain, though English, we'll try to make it easy for you. Like slowly, steadily, we'll explain things in a manner.
Yeah, and from
Yeah.
Distilogix, we do have, because we're spread across the region, so we have French-speaking team, Arabic-speaking team, and English-speaking team. I hope
Yes.
this
Yes.
covers like the whole region. Yeah.
Yeah, that is because of our partners. I'm so gladful that I have to remember my partners here. So all our partners would also be helping out because they are the persons of your land. So obviously they will know what to do, and even if they come in a call, just give them some inputs so that they can explain you, they can translate you, even if it is on one-on-one session. So just people, this is completely to make a big deal into a small one. Just to make it simple in your life to carry out things. That's it. Yes. Oh, any other questions that we have for people?
I think we can proceed for now.
Yeah. So I don't know what I'm going to proceed because Mohammed has already given all such key features, but still I just have some presentation to show. I have to complete it. So yeah, some of the key features of BDR Suite, which I would say some of the differentiators of BDR Suite here. So as I told you, this is a simple and centralized UI. So like one single window, you can configure all your backup jobs Either it is a data, or you can take a backup of your data across your physical, your virtual, or your cloud environments. All things is possible. We have the where it left off feature. So while the data has been transferred from the source machine to the backup server machine, and if there is an interruption of your network, like network lines have been cut off, the next time when the connection is being established, the backup doesn't have to start all over again. It is from exactly where the previous job was resumed, the backup will continue. And people, this is not only for VMware, I mean, not only for virtual environment and physical environment, even for the cloud. While taking a backup of your Microsoft 365, we have this where it left off feature to be enabled for the product. So that is where we are playing somewhere away from other product competitors in the market. And we have our own incremental approach that, as I told you, every see the ours is a portable incremental backup. So once you configure a backup job, the initial backup will be a full backup followed only by the changes. So only the changes will be tracked, and those changes are named as increments, 1, 2, and so that is more like a forever incremental. And if these increments are going, you just try to restore one incremental, we'll expose it as a complete full. So that is what we call that as unique reverse or forward incremental approach. So that you don't need to follow this reverse incremental, forward incremental approach and all. That is not required. Just a timestamp that you select, you'll be able to get a solution. I mean, get to restore your data, which has all the previous incrementals merged to it. So it is every incremental has been exposed as a virtual full backup. That is the efficiency that we provide. And then we have a good efficient storage technique that leverages the own proprietary file system of the backup software. As I told you, the data will be stored in the form of chunks. That is what the patented file system is being mentioned here. And the retention policy, we have one of the best in class retention policy. One, you can either retain your data in the name of versions, or you can retain the data in the name of time period. That is retention data. And you also have something called as GFS retention. So this GFS retention will help you to archive your data for a long period of time. So that storage in class is ensured by the BDR. And your data is all secure, as I told you, obviously, since it is a backup solution, not only my backup solution, even any competitor in the market. So all the data will be encrypted with AES 256-bit algorithm by minimum. But our difference is we encrypt the data, both the flight as well as the data when it gets stored in storage repository. That is one of the important point that we have. Even over the WAN, the data is secured. Next, we have a complete and intuitive reporting option with email notification. This reporting will help you to, comply with the international standards, as well as you can even download the reports for your in a CSV format for your internal audit purposes. That's the option that we provide. And before, as people have said, we have this clutter-free and flexible deployment. The initial setup, mainly for the Windows, we have the initial setup and configuration of BDRSuite takes not more than 15 minutes. Okay, that's the maximum time limit. And what I've tested is within 8 to 10 minutes, I was able to install the product. So if you have the enough resources, obviously you can even achieve less than 15 minutes. But if it's more than 15 minutes, please do contact our support. We let you know why that so much of time has been taken. Okay, so these are the key features of BDRSuite, my fellow men. Now we need to talk about why people choose BDRSuite over multiple other widespread product in the market. So BDRSuite here is also a backup and disaster recovery solution as so as others in the competitors. The backup technology across the competitors is all going to be the same, but we play an individuality when how we store data and how we help you to restore the data and how easy the backup solution to handle. So this is where our importance comes in. So as you could see, we have 3 times faster backup and recovery process. And obviously this is based completely directly dependent on your resource, as I told you previously. And can resume your business less than 5 minutes. Within 5 minutes, you can restore your data. That is also again towards the resources. And the 3-2-1 rule that you have to against your ransomware, which we provide, and 15 minutes of installation of the product, not a higher learning curve is required. That is one. And the solution, which has 70% of compromising prices with compared to any other market leaders, and 24/7 support, technical support with industry's best SLA is what we provide, because we are named for the support, the pricing, as well as the simplicity of the product that we process. And this is why people choose BDRSuite over any other solutions in the market. Yes. Do we have any further questions on this, people? If you have, maybe like we can talk about that, or we can even, you know, we can have a small show of our product to you.
There is a quick note around the licenses and the one interface. The question is it one interface that supports backup for VMs, Office 365, and so on? So the answer is yes, it's one interface. But if yes, is it one product the license will be based on? On what basis? So like different licenses for Office 365, VMs, and so on?
There's different licenses, though it is, see, simplicity of the product is maintained by since it is a IT admin or anyone, one member who is going to handle the solution. So the software is a one single window, but the licenses has been parted. So if it is a virtual environment, they just need to purchase a virtual environment license. That is, if it is VMware, they just need to purchase license for VMware. They don't need to purchase for people. The complete BDRSuite is free. BDRSuite installation and restore, don't charge you for that. It is only the license. Whatever the product that you're going to use, only for that you need to purchase a license. You don't have to purchase any other licenses if it is not required to you. Though it is a single window that you are going to operate it on. Okay. Any questions or not?
Well, there is one from Ramid, and you would like to know, can the restore be delegated to end users with their own portal login, having access only to the files they own?
Yes, we have this multi-tenancy option. So obviously, the users can be provided with individual privileges. So they sign in with their own username and password, which they set, so that but IT admin has to provide them with the privilege, like restore only privilege or read only privilege. If the person IT admin provided them with restore only privilege, the end user can restore his data. We will be able to see what others have taken a backup and what was the other backup job that has been configured. So you can group your customers based on your requirement. Yeah.
Okay. Finally, there is a question from Hasna, and it is, if we have distributed infrastructure, like having 2 or more data centers in different regions, how it can be connected for backup. I just want to remind you that you can contact us, or you can use the link to have a one-on-one meeting, so we can understand more about the structure and how we can map your data. We can map your your environment. But if you could help with the question.
Yeah, exactly. Because this question needs an additional information that we have to talk about. So we have to understand first the customers. I mean, question has been raised. We need to talk to them. We need to understand their requirement, their environment, and then we can answer it. So maybe in a one-on-one session, we can give them a complete detailing about it.
Okay, I would share with her then the link in the chat.
Yeah, sure. Sure. Any other questions there?
Well, there is one that is, do you have training and a certificate of your own?
Yes, we have a training thing, and the certification is something that we are working on. Mostly by version when the 7.0 version releases, we also have a separate training portal that is coming up. So you get to get the training things both as a partner as well as BDRSuite certificate of excellence when we provide it.
Well, I think we have answered all the questions.
Okay,
Anything
fine.
have anything to add or something
Yeah,
to raise concern?
yeah. So what I do is just another quick 3 minutes of walkthrough over my product, so that most of your questions which I've just answered, maybe we can have a virtual view. So not more than 5 minutes I would take, just 3 minutes, just a quick view. Next, please contact us on a one call through Distilogix.
There is a question. Do you support backup to S3 storage, which is immune to ransomware?
Yeah, yes,
Destination. Yeah.
yeah, well, we can get your data to be backup data to be stored in S3, but immutable storage as a target is something that, as I told you, will be coming up in version 7.0. So obviously, immutable storage for the cloud is which is something would be coming up. But generally speaking, S3 is the immutability in S3 is something which is an option within the S3 feature itself. So since you can add your S3 to your storage, I believe so you can get to add your storage as S3 and get to store your data in your immutable storage, because that is one of the option that is there. Either you want to store it as a glacier or in a cloud environment, that is completely different on that case. Yeah. People, as I told you, this is a complete solution which I was talking to you. Data center private cloud, the cloud workloads, the SaaS application and applications and DBs. So here you have all the options here. So all things of this can be taken up backup and the applications as well. And the backup server, you get to store in two different storage options. One is block storage and another one is object storage. Object storage is completely your cloud, either Amazon 3, S3 compatible, Azure Blob, Google Cloud. You can add it up as a storage repository. Or if you're going to choose backup local storage, if you're using an appliance, then you can disable your compression and encryption for the repository which you're going to choose. So if you're using your storage appliance, you can disable the software-based thing, and then you can create a repository. But basically, you use scale-out repositories. So whenever your storage needs an expansion, you can just edit the storage repository, and you can expand it. So that's the option that we have. And another one is the offsite DR, which I said you can have that as an offsite DR as an option. And regarding the tenancy, which I meant, so you have the multi-tenancy options here. So you can group your user based on the tenancy that's required. So you can create any number of tenants just with the name, email ID, a common storage location, and then you can proceed further. So I have already created one. So with that, you can add your entities. What all the entities that I have added, all these entities that I can see, and the selected entities, the users. So how many users I'm giving them what option. So here I have a virtual tenant user with read-only option. So he can only read through the reports of the backup job and the recovery data. And another one is tenant user 2 has the recovery access. So he can restore the data. So when these two tenants will not be able to see each other's data privilege of the entities that they have configured. So that's the option that we have with tenancy option. And yeah, the next is this. You can add your data sources from their section. So respectively, since it is data center, private cloud, and endpoints, you will be adding it through this section. And for cloud workloads, you're using the data source over here. For SaaS applications, you will be adding your admin user privilege for your Microsoft 365 and Google Workspace organization under this. And then for applications, you again have data sources separately. So like this, you will have data sources for each of the entities that we have mentioned previously. And whatever the backup that you configure, you'll be configuring it through this window. For Windows, you have both disk image and files and folders. For Linux, you have files and folders, and Mac files and folders. So all your configurations will go through this section. And here you have tape archive to archive your data for a longer period of time. The VM replication option for VMware and Hyper-V will be configured through this replication option. And here you have the reports, recovery. So whatever the data that you're configured to take a backup, all this backup data will be seen here. You have the original size to one side, you have the compressed size on the other. If, for example, this is a VMware backup that I configured, if I click to restore, I'll see multiple recovery options as to be shown over. So if I'm going to choose one particular time virtual machine, I'll see this instant boot which I was explaining previously about disaster recovery. So I can use this instant boot VM. And another disaster recovery case is a disk mount. So it will instantly attach the disk of your backed up virtual machine to your backup server, where you can copy or paste some files and folders to it. And then you have this file level recovery. So you can, though you have taken a complete image level backup, you can restore particular files and folders. And one point that I wanted to mention, if your virtual machine has hosted any of applications of Microsoft, then you obviously can restore taking an image level backup. You have to enable the application aware processing so that your application consistency is maintained. And when you restore, you can restore the applications granularly, mainly for Exchange, SQL, Active Directory, and SharePoint of the Microsoft, so from your image level backup that you're configured. So this is the advantage that you have with the recovery. And this type of recovery, even you can enjoy it for your physical machine backup. Even if it is a physical machine, for example, this is a Windows disk image backup that I configured. So when I try to restore, I'll be able to restore granularly with the same recovery options. Cross-platform migration is not a big deal as far as Vembu is concerned. And another point here is backup copy. This, you can have a copy of your backup job in an storage medium, that is in cloud. That's the option that you have. So literally, and the reports, you have an intuitive report, you have a dashboard reporting that gives you a detail about the complete report status on each day, and even the recent job schedule report that gives you what status, whether it is incremental or what, or the original size and compressed size which is stored. All those details will be shown in this section. So you'll achieve all the detail. You can download it or even keep it as an email notification. That's option that we provide with this BDR suite. And the notifications are here. If there is any error that you're facing, all that error message along with the KB you get. So when you click on the KB, it will redirect you to the KB link showing you what is the error and what is the cause of the error. So all that is possible with this BDR suite. And even if you want to contact our support, you have support, just click on this question icon. You have contact support option. Here you can raise a ticket, or you, if required of a email, you can send an email to vembu-support@vembu.com, or you also have this export log option. So whatever the logs, you can click on export log, send it as a bundle to our support team. They'll help you with the rest of the process. And user details is already being added. And as I told you, each feature that you're going to select will have its own tooltip to explain you while configuring the backup. And the minimum RPO to configure the backup for this data center private cloud and endpoints would be 15 minutes. If it is for cloud-based backup, it is one, the RPO would be, it is not RTO, it is RPO. The minimum RPO query point objective would be 15 minutes. That's the interval between first backup and a second backup that you can set. That is minimum 15 minutes. If you want to extend it, you can go further. So people, I've given you an outscope of what it is. And sure, I can cover more, but it would take much of your valuable time. So I don't want to much of your time. So I'm just giving it here. If you have any questions or set up a call, you can just have a one-on-one call with us when required. Yes, and thank you so much. This is all from my end. And yeah.
Great.
Yes,
great.
Mom.
Pranav, thank you, because we took really long. I don't want to make them wait longer than that. So let's switch directly to the question we promised the audience with.
Yes. Yes.
And in this question, so Pranav will ask a question, guys. What we want you to do is a simple answer in the chat. So whatever question he has, he will ask one question only. Answer the question in the chat. The first person that does answer that question correct will get that AirPod. And Pranav will go through the chat, and then when he sees the first correct answer, that person will be given that AirPod as a reward for today's session. And as I mentioned earlier, if you work for a reseller organization in the region, Middle East and Africa, you are entitled to get NFR from Vembu so that you can try it and demonstrate it to your customers. And customers will get that for free anyways from the Vembu website through the free demo. But if you are a reseller, we will send you NFR licenses to test the product. Come back to us, please. Send us email. Send us email to me or to my colleagues. I'm typing the emails now. So there is my colleague Nadir at Distilogix.com to request that NFR. Okay, it's nm@distilogix.com. So be ready, please. Pranav now will ask the question, and please do your best to answer as quick as you can. Correct question, answer, and complete answer. There is only one winner. Okay.
Yeah.
So are you ready? Everyone ready?
Yes, I am ready. After giving so much speech, now asking a question is something which takes me. I have to ask a question so that it is a question that is valuable for winning an AirPod. So yeah, what question shall I ask? Yeah, this is a question that immediately struck my head. So a very basic question, people. If you would have followed me, obviously you would be able to answer this. I'm just putting it simple. On what are all the platforms that is operating systems which I mentioned that BDRSuite can be installed? I will need the server operating systems specifically. If you could mention the BDRSuite software can be installed. Okay.
We'll give it a couple of minutes for everyone to answer. Then Pranav will scroll through the chat and he will select the winner or who will answer the question correct faster than others.
Yeah, before I finish, I even had the answer here. We'll just give another couple of minutes, though.
Give it one more minute and that's it.
Yeah. People, please don't copy.
Copying doesn't help because whoever you're copying from has already answered the question faster. So. Good. I think we're in a position now to trace the answers and select the correct answer. So Pranav, you want to go through the chat and scroll up and decide who was the first one to answer the correct answer.
Yeah, it is. I found the first one. Mohammad Mukhtar. Windows and Ubuntu. Exactly, Mohammad Mukhtar. It is Windows and Ubuntu that you can install the BDRSuite. Others, they have tried it. Very good people. You have tried it. You have answered it as Windows and Linux, but Mukhtar has answered exactly with Windows and Ubuntu. That before I finish my question, I had Mukhtar answering this. And thank you so much, Mukhtar. Brilliant.
Good, Mukhtar. So, Mohammed Mukhtar, I think we know how to reach you and how you are, but in always send us email so that we don't miss you, so that we can reach and coordinate for the shipment of that AirPod to my colleague Nadir. Distilogix, and keep me in the CC. I'm adding all the email addresses here. Okay. So please, Mukhtar, congratulations. Yes, of course, congratulations. Great job. Please send us email to my colleague Nadir, nm@distilogix.com, or me at distilogix.com, so that we start the logistics and coordination of shipping and everything, okay? Great job, everyone. Everyone was answering, like really
Yeah,
answering.
everyone has answered. I'm happy that everyone has been following. Thank you so much, people.
And
And Mukhtar,
the best thing
yeah,
about it is the questions. Everyone was asking amazing questions, man, right?
yeah, exactly.
They were
Not
great.
even, yeah, not even in my product review, I have answered so much of question. My senior did not ask me so much of questions when I joined this company. But
You guys
thank you
are
so
awesome.
much.
Yes, you
Yeah,
guys are
they were
awesome.
awesome.
Yeah, really awesome. So special thanks to Vembu team for their support. Pranav, you did a great job today. Thank you for your support and your
As
colleagues.
always, it
And
is so happy to be with you, Distilogix.
thank you.
Great with Mohammed Nazir, Omar, and Suman as well. Thank you
Thank you
so
so much.
much. It's our
And,
privilege.
and for the audience, guys, I will never find the words to describe how grateful and happy we are, how honored I'm personally to be with you today. You really made this webinar an awesome webinar. It's all because of you guys. Okay. See you next time, and Mukhtar will be waiting for your email. Thank you so much. Enjoy your day.
Yes.